Hey, this is ASpengler, and today we have a vehicle review. Today it is the M8 Greyhound, and if you've kind of followed my Army videos in this channel in the past, you know that I've already kind of made one of these before. This isn't a super new vehicle. Well, this particular model is a new vehicle, but the Greyhound is something I've had. I had a different one that was modeled off Brickmania's Greyhound they made, I don't know, a few years ago. So I'll compare them later, but before we go more in depth into the build itself, I did take some time lapses of the whole building process, so quick watch those and then we'll come back and compare the two and then go into a more in-depth review of the vehicle itself. Okay, coming back after those time lapses, there may be a few things that you notice on the vehicle itself that are slightly different to the time lapses. Probably the first things being if you did notice anything, the first thing is probably the biggest thing that I think that I changed after the time lapse was I had put some vents in here. I went back, looked at some pictures of the Greyhound, and They're more compartments that open up to the engine, so I changed those to make it a little bit more accurate. And there may be some other little things here and there that aren't the same as the time lapses. So after the time lapses, I usually go back and either add some little details or I don't know, things like that. So there's the Greyhound. After that, well, first, before we go more in depth, I have my older version, the one from Brickmania. So just to start it off, some comparisons. This one's a little bit bigger, so I would assume for like minifigure scale, this one is a little bit better on scale. This one's kind of bulky, and I feel like the curves on this one get it a little bit more accurate to the actual thing. And then this one, it's quite a bit fragile, or more fragile than this one. This one's pretty sturdy, but partly that's because this one you can have guys go inside it. There's 2 spots for the driver and co-driver. This one, the one I made, the custom one, I ended up not having like any space to put the guys in, partly just because I don't know, I was trying to keep it small and compact. I'm thinking about going back and making another one of these because it was kind of, it wasn't as complex as I had assumed it would be. I feel like it would have been a lot more complex if I had tried to make it the inner compartments, but I'm thinking since there's the M8 Greyhound, it was the armored car with the top armament turret, but there was also a utility version that didn't have the turret, so I'm thinking about making another one which is the utility version, and then maybe since it's the turret will be off, I'll try to clear up a lot of the space in here, and then maybe I'll be able to fit like at least 1 spot for a driver, and then there will be like a 50 cal mounted on there. So maybe a different part or a second vehicle will come out of this. Another downside for this one is probably the turret, the gun itself. Whenever this goes down, you just see this big exposed spot right in here. So that's one thing that was kind of difficult to cover up, partly because I saw this a few times on the internet. People use these pieces for the turret on, I think, other Greyhounds. So I chose that technique partly because it was the dark gray, and there's not many like good round pieces that are dark gray to use. So I kind of looked online, kind of looked through my pieces. I had a decent amount of these, so I took those and it ended up turning out pretty well, except for the turret or the gun spot itself. But I feel like if you keep the gun up like that, it's kind of hard to notice like straight on, or it's more noticeable on the side or if the gun goes down. So that's one downside to it, but I think the turret in general looks better than this one, other than the fact that this one is easier to mount a 50 cal on, like going off like that, there's more room for it. So for this one, since there's no like good spot to mount the 50 cal around the ring, I ended up just putting it on the back, just so it can still be there, but it's not quite as accurate because the actual Greyhound, it had on the outer ring a spot to mount the 50 cal. So turret's a little bit smaller on this one and bigger on this one. So that's it for this one. Probably scrap this one afterwards, partly because I like my new one better, and this one's pretty fragile and it doesn't really have a good color scheme, but that's partly my fault because I didn't make it uniform. So that one probably be scrapped, and this one will be the new replacement. That's the main reason I was actually building this in the first place. I thought I needed a replacement for the old one, partly because of the bad color scheme, partly just because I thought it was pretty bulky and something I probably wouldn't use in a mock. So ended up making my own version. So some features that we didn't already go through. Oh, you got the back vents and stuff. These do open, but I don't think the actual vehicle had those opening for utility or anything, but that's how I got the slope there. Like I said, guys can't fit in. The turret does rotate completely, and it goes up and down, so those are really the main features, but just get the different side views and back views for you guys so you can see it at the different angles. Okay, so that's the M8 Greyhound. Some things are videos coming up for the future. I'm planning on making like another little mock. Like the bridge skirmish, I already took that one apart, and then I'll build one kind of like a road to feature the Greyhound and some upcoming vehicles. I'm thinking about making the M5 half track. Plus, like I said, I might make the utility version of this. This one wasn't as complicated of a vehicle as I had kind of thought about it at first, and it didn't use like not a ton of tiling and advanced parts. I actually ended up incorporating a lot of pieces that I don't normally use, so that was a good thing. So I still have a decent amount of pieces in reserve. So thank you guys for watching. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe. For the future, I'll probably look to post on Wednesday, start up posting on Wednesdays again, and we'll continue to do Sunday posts as well. And another quick question I had for you guys: would you guys want me to post like haul videos for Bricklink orders or Brickmania orders? And if you have any other videos, please comment them, or suggestions, please comment them down below. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.